For our short box abdominal series, there are a lot of different exercises we're going to cover, but you don't necessarily have to teach all of these at once. All of them, though, are going to have a focus on the abdominals, on your core, and a lot of our different abdominal slings and our core system as a whole. So yes, the abdominal muscles, but also pelvic floor. We've got some hip flexors, we've got some glutes, we've got some spinal stabilizers. So these really become full system exercises, especially as we start to add different spinal movements and rotation and flexion and lateral rotation and all of the things that get added with these. For setup for pretty much all of the short box series, we're going to have our short box on the carriage, all of our springs on just to keep the carriage nice and still, and our feet tucked under the strap down on the platform. If someone is really tall, it might feel nice to take your straps off of the shoulder blocks and move the box over the shoulder blocks just to scooch it back a little bit and give them a bit more space. Because in general, we don't want to be sitting all the way back at the edge of the box, so we've got some box behind us to work with here. For our roll down on the box, very similarly to all of our other roll downs, we start sitting up nice and tall, arms out in front, take a big deep breath in to grow tall, and then exhale, tuck the tail and start to curl yourself down onto the box. The difference is here, we can start to press the feet up into the strap and roll down and back, and then circle back up and through to come back to the top. For our hinge here, we're essentially doing the same thing as a roll down, but instead of working our spine through flexion, we're keeping our spine in a neutral position. So for this one, you can cue arms out in front of the chest again or up in a V. This is a great place to hold on to a dowel as well. Or sometimes it's nice to have people just cross their arms over their chest. I'm just gonna have the arms out in front. We inhale, grow tall. Exhale, hinge the body back from the hip joint just as far as you can control without losing that neutral spine, and then come back up. So for this one, we want to make sure that we're not going back so far that people start to bend into the lower back, and we're also not coming into that flex position that we work in our roll down. So working really hard to keep everything from the tailbone to the crown of the head in one piece, and then lifting back up from there. Climb a tree is our next exercise. So for this one, we'll actually slide one leg out of the strap and grab behind the thigh. I've just got my fingers interlaced here. Sit up nice and tall. And from here at the top, it can be nice sometimes to bend and straighten the knee a couple of times just to get people to stretch out the legs, right? For some people, the leg may be a little bit lower down here. That's totally fine. Once we're ready, we've got the thigh wrapped around the hands, or the hands wrapped around the thigh. Sit up nice and tall. And exhale, we scoop through the lower belly and start to roll back, just like we would for our roll down, but about halfway back. So I've still got a hold of the leg. Once I get here, this is a nice place to test and shift our weight out of the arms and into the core. So unlock the hands, replace them, but without taking the weight of the leg into the hands. From here, we bend and straighten the leg 3 times. 2, 1, and then we extend that leg up and start to walk up the leg. However, I'm not grabbing on and pulling myself up. I am lifting through the core and simply reaching my hands higher, and then we walk back down the leg, coming all the way down, and maybe even folding into a nice big back bend, where we exhale, curl it back up all the way to the foot, and then you can go again. You can bend and straighten from here, and then start to walk back down and back up again when you tuck the foot back down and switch sides. For around the world, I've got a ball as a prop here just to have something in the hands. It's a nice visual cue for people. And we'll start sitting up nice and tall. There's 2 different ways that we can do around the world, and I'm going to teach you both of them. So to start, we're sitting upright with the ball in front. We're just going to twist to one side. So knees are still facing forward. We don't want to slide one knee forward, keeping them grounded. Once we get over to the side, we scoop through the belly and roll down, just like we would for a roll down. Then we can lift the arms up, twist to center, twist to the other side, lower the arms, roll it back up, and start again. So you would reverse, down, lift, center, twist, lower, lift, and center. From there, you can start to smooth that out. So you can simply roll down, open through center, twist and come back up in both directions. Or we can start to focus on keeping the body centered and just rotating the arms. So we can roll back and down and then start to take the arms up and over while we're staying down. So there's a little bit of a rotation that happens in the chest, but for the most part, we're staying facing forward and we're staying at our height versus coming up and down throughout the exercise. Our side lying oblique short box series here is a great one for your obliques, but also really your whole lateral chain here. So we've got a lot of lateral hip work as well. And we just start seated facing towards the side with the bottom knee bent in front and the top foot tucked under the strap. And once you get there, you just want to lean yourself out and scoot your bottom hip slightly underneath you. So I'm not in a full side lying position level with my hips, but I'm a little bit more towards that bottom hip. Hips are stacked, toes are facing forward with that leg in the strap. So you're really pressing the side of your ankle or shin or foot up into the strap, but with the toes facing forward, not facing up. Notice how when I turn my toes up, it twists my pelvis and my chest up to the sky. So staying in that side lying position, we're going to start with the hand just resting on the headrest, top hand behind the head, and we start to bend the elbow to lower down towards the floor and then press through the elbow to take a little side crunch back up. Then we slowly start to take away that weight. So maybe both hands come behind the head. We side bend down and we side crunch up. And we want this side crunch to happen right in the waistline. So we're not trying to sit all the way up and back down, although that can be an exercise, but really just trying to keep ourselves out on this diagonal as we lower and lift. We can also start to add some rotation here to make this a little bit more dynamic. So with the arm, that would look like lowering down, rotating the chest to the floor. Maybe you want to open the hand, bring it back, twist it to the front, and lift it up. Without the hand, we come down, twist, open, back, rotate, and lift. The best part about this side box series, in my opinion, is the stretch that you get at the end. So you can have people either bring their hand or their forearm to the headrest, or if they're really flexy, they can bring a hand to the floor. But from there, we bring the top arm up, and we just get this nice, lovely side bend, really pressing the bottom foot up into the strap. And then if you'd like, you can actually rotate towards the carriage, taking the hands out wide and walking them forward to drop the chest down, which again is just a great stretch for that entire oblique chain that we just worked.